Here we are, the first My Little Pony Friendship is a Magic movie to have ponies throughout the entire running time. To be honest, the stakes in this movie were fairly high. Twilight had to save the princesses as well as rescue Canterlot from their imprisonment/slavery. But let's start off by talking about our new characters. Tempest was made a badass at the beginning, and her character remained one for most of the movie until the very end. However, the first few lines by Emily Blunt didn't come off as intimidating. It felt like she was rushing it and came off as if she were annoyed.
Oh, goody. All for princesses. Here's the deal, ladies. I need your magic. Give it up nicely, please, or we make it difficult. For everyone.
Every other line she does is done very well and intimidating. Her backstory, though, is very weak. She doesn't believe in friendship because after she lost her horn in a very gruesome way, her magic was never the same and she scared off other unicorns. So she left the village and was immediately filled with hate. Okay, that's like saying Hitler created the final solution because a Jewish person didn't want to be his friend. But yeah, Tempest is easily one of the better characters in the movie. Grubber, the little fat one by Michael Pena, added literally nothing. He was annoyed and showed up in scenes just so they could use Michael Pena. Capper, who is also barely used, was alright as a voice. His song wasn't that special though. However, the only reason why he is good is because Rarity stitches up a small hole in his sleeve without asking for anything in return. That is the only reason why. He tried to sell them into basically slavery, but because his sleeve was stitched, he can easily trust and befriend them. It's as if his reason to help them all happened in his head without any mention of it outside his head. I would have liked to see his moral debate, but they just need to show off that he's a new character. The pirates were also hardly anything. Same with the sea ponies, aka hippogriffs. They showed up, then disappeared. Then barely did anything. The bird pirates were basically a mail service for the Storm King. However, they don't kill the ponies because their lunch break starts, and that is the only time they get break for their work. The reason they become pirates again is also super weak. It is quite literally, hey, remember when you were pirates? Why don't you do that again? Okay. They also did this part all through song, because they want to use Daniel Ingram as much as possible, I guess. Let's move over to one of the main focuses of the marketing campaign for this movie, the sea ponies. Not only are the sea ponies actually just the hippogriffs, but the queen is probably the best written character of them. The princess, though, the one they befriend, comes off more as Dory being from Finding Nemo, Dory. As for the queen, not only does she get top listing in the end credits, but she was written like an actual queen. She doesn't side with the ponies because she isn't going to endanger her people to save those she hardly knows. Even later, after the song and ponies becoming friends with knockoff Dory, she still goes against them because of the dishonesty of Twilight. She sees that Twilight was desperate, but it is still endangering the many to save a few in her eyes. She's realistic. The last new character I can talk about is the Storm King. Oh boy, I do not like him one bit. Somehow, before the events of this movie, he convinced people to join his empire and installed a system of currency in some areas. And throughout the movie, his only goal is to gain power for his staff in order to prove he can actually summon storms. So throughout the entire film, the Storm King basically has no power other than maybe physical strength. And the way he gets power is even dumber. Out of anger, he shoves his staff into a convenient hole and unlocks the magic for his staff. If he did this anywhere else, the staff probably would have broken. But since we need an awesome battle, of course he gets the correct location. And of course, Celestia would have a hole that if a staff is plugged into it, would drain the magic from the alicorns, because why wouldn't Celestia have something that could depower her in her own castle? However, the only good moment is when he actually comes out as threatening in his FaceTime chat with Tempest.
Remember, Tempest, only I have the power to make you whole. Make this twig work, and you'll get your reward. Fail me, and your horn won't be the only thing that's broken.
As well as his death. Oh yeah, he dies. He becomes crystal and falls and shatters into pieces. There is no way he can come back from that. So his threat and his death are the only good parts about him. It's sad to say, but this movie went by fairly quickly as well. It was bland, dull, boring, the list. The moments in it are hardly worth remembering. The story just goes so fast. We are only given about 20 minutes for each new character. The movie had too many celebrities and didn't know how to effectively utilize them. Pinky's crazy was turned way up to the point where she comes off as a psychopath in one instance. Sia was introduced, then forgotten, then got one more scene in which she did basically nothing, and then got her song at the very end. The plot should have made the movie, not the stars. Yes, there were some good parts to the plot, like the idea that Twilight is on the losing side. Oh wait, Nightmare Moon did that. Chrysalis did that twice. Tyrek did that. The Seeds of Discord did that. It's basically been done before in the series. Sure, this one took it to a full-scale invasion with Tempest falling behind because of airships, but the premise was done before. Tempest betraying the Storm King could also be seen a mile away because A, she's a pony, B, she only served him for reward, and C, she gave up on friendship. It's clear that in this series that any pony who gives up on friendship will soon make a 180 turn and let it in after some event, like Moondancer or Starlight Glimmer. However, Tempest's betrayal wasn't an easy turn from evil to good. She thought about it and watched from afar until she sacrificed herself. Even if her change to good was a bit quick, it didn't feel all that forced. For a cinematic all-pony movie, it should have been worked on a lot more. Earlier versions of it, like the Storm King being a brother or something, probably were worse than what we got. However, this was still bad. All of the Equestria Girls movies, yes, I am including Legends of Everfree, which is probably the weakest of all the movies, is still better than this one. Rainbow Rocks and the Friendship Games were just great in their entirety. The Legends of Everfree is better because it told its story better. It was better focused on what it wanted to focus on, saving the camp. This movie is focused on save the ponies, find the Queen of the Hippogriffs, give Tempest her badass moments, and shove in those celebrities. It had too much it wanted to do and not enough time. And that's why this movie gets the score of 3 out of 10, which is still me being generous towards it. Like Shadowplay, I wanted to like it, but it didn't give me enough about it to like. Emily Blunt's performance and her song alongside an actual queen and the second on-screen character death in the entire series, first one being Sombra's. If you enjoyed this, feel free to tell me why in the comments below, but I can't. I'm Wolf, and I'll see you all later.